Good morning, everybody. What a slow overnight session we've had so far. Wait for some more people to join, and we will see what we get today. Bread. Let's go. We'll just make sure everyone's aware. Okay, we shall get started. Oh, there we go. Why is that not? Oh, is my whoop gone? Dodgy. Oh god, I've shared the link 500 times. Okay, let's have a look where we are. So, I'm going to go to the daily. I know we've already broken this down, but just since we're halfway through the week, I will just do a bit of a breakdown on the weekly. Yesterday was a really important day for the week and for the month because we came into our weekly and monthly 100% ranges, which we do have to be mindful of potential bottoms. However, if those levels break, which they have, on average, we do get anywhere between 300 to 500 points below, 300 on the weekly, 500 on the monthly. So they can break and we can go lower, but typically on average, we close above. And therefore, being short too much below those levels into the end of the week or into the end of the month will not be conducive. So I'm okay looking, and we have been looking for shorts pretty much this whole month, which is quite rare for me because I've been pretty much long this whole move up here, right? Occasionally we take some shorts along the way, but only really when the BX is red, which kind of just tells us the momentum is dying off. And to be honest, I wouldn't and didn't probably even short when the BX was red here. Why am I shorting, or why have I been shorting for the past 2 weeks in this area? Because of the huge move that we've had and the multiple higher time frame short completions that we've had. So I'm just going to draw them on here just so we've all got them. We can kind of do this together. I always end up deleting my drawings. So the extensions I have on end up getting taken off. But anyway, the first extension we can draw this together is from all the way back down on a weekly time frame or a monthly time frame, however you want to draw it, which is basically COVID lows all the way to the highs of 2022 November. Traded the 62, pretty much ticked it, and we've completed that negative 62. So again, algorithmic action, entries at the 62, selling into the 62 for a 100, well, just under 100% gain on the index, which is phenomenal. 12,700 points, which is not bad. Inside of that extension, we had what would be classed as a traditional draw, which is from the low of January the 3rd. And you can see this was a traditional in here. I'm just going to draw them. I'm not going to explain them because we've already gone through this 100 times. That traditional, again, has its completion. And if we put that double thickness on with the dashed, you can see that is another reason why we've been looking for shorts. And also the weekly is now bearish for this can still close above zero, but currently it's bearish. The previous week was bearish, so I'm going to classify the BX as being bearish simply because the previous week, which has closed, is red. Yes, we can get whipsaw action like go red then green. I get that. So this week could turn green. Currently it's red, so we'll go off this week and the last week, which is red. Inside this, we go down to a smaller time frame. The daily will be the smaller time frame from the weekly, and again, is the consecutive day or is the previous day bearish or has been bearish? And I referred to bearish as simply being, is the BX dark green or dark red or red? Yes, then strictly speaking, we're bearish, and it's as simple as that. I don't have any emotions to it. Out of the bullish move that we had this halfway back inside, never broke the 62. That went all the way to its negative 100 a while ago, pretty much the start of this year. The only extensions we now have inside of all these smaller draws is what I'm going to refer to. This is the first high to high on the 38% retracement down here. And again, has gone all the way to completion. So you'll notice how aggressive we have been getting on a daily time frame. So for those who've been trading the longs with us for a while, you notice we have to go even smaller. We have to sometimes go to 1 minute timeframes to get our entries. We are now bearish on the true trend as well. We are now bearish on the true trend, which is what I want to see. Taking the indicators just off for a second, just so you can see why I'm bearish and have been for a couple of weeks, and those entries have those biases have been pretty much spot on. In all honesty, this is the most aggressive daily high to high extension, and by definition, when I say high to high, it already is bearish in and of itself by just being a high to high, because you're getting a steep, a lesser pullback. And again, what makes this so clean and why I've been short, entries at the 50, full negative 100 completion, full 62 completion, huge move down. Remember, this was the Trump day, Trump and China beef. Was it a coincidence that was straight after the 62 completion of this short? Maybe, right? Maybe. But nonetheless, it still happened. We also have, for those who are new, this is the resistance. And this is where my resistance has been for the whole month. And again, another reason why I've been short for the whole month of November. Okay? And I continue to be bearish. And it is and will be as simple as flipping long, flipping short, flipping long, flipping short. And I am short on some other accounts right now, so I'm just trying to manage those accordingly. But it's looking good so far. Nice. Okay, and I'll show you my short in a second. But anyway, that is why I have been short and remain short. And is it a coincidence that, again, we have these completions, then price shows us in real time that we're bearish. Beautiful move down. So my short this morning, I've been trying to just focus this morning on some actual sort of business related stuff, just some reels and some work stuff. So I've only really been actively looking at the charts here and there. So I haven't really been in the room much this morning, but I took a short, which is at 780s and also 704s, which was the halfway back after the true trend. So you see here, inside the true trend, sorry. So this was what I took at 680s. I can show you here. 680s. And some others here as well. Not the best here, 670s. So still short, expecting us to come down. And we are doing that nicely. Cool. Completions on this, for anyone interested, is and will be the negative 100, which is 550s. Does anyone remember 550s from yesterday? Golden star if you do. $550s will be the target for this short. The only thing we have to be very mindful of is we're inside the low end of the resistance area. So if we zoom out, all of this here, beautiful move down. Beautiful move down. This whole zone here is and will be, until proven otherwise, chop and resistance until we have a look below and above. What that looks like is your traditional sort of head and shoulders, I believe, right? So you'll most likely have a look below, get back above, potentially act as support, potentially double bottom, final move higher, push back down to the lows, 1, 2, 3, go on the lows, then maybe just maybe, we get back above into these all-time highs, right? Just maybe. But right now, we have to follow the trend. And the old saying, the trend is your friend, is something that it took me a very, 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 very long time to learn. I still think there's many people that actually don't actually fully understand what that means. The trend is your friend. And one thing I would say is just making sure you are in true alignment with the daily time frame. I think it's not going to be right 100% of the time because nothing is, but it will definitely help keep you out of trouble most of the time. So trying to stay in alignment with the daily is going to be really, really important. And one thing I am mindful of is the 37. So this is just simply something I've noticed over time. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see it, but typically when you get into these areas, the low end of the histogram, I don't actually know what the inputs are on the histogram, how deep this can go, or what the deepest point has been. You can probably just eyeball it, maybe down here at like 50s, right? So we are pretty much at 43, so quite close to the lowest point on the BX. So if you map to Fibonacci from low to high, you're probably at like 90%, right? 80, 85%. So have to be very mindful of that. A bounce will come at some point, but we do not take trades based on we may get a bounce, right? That's not what we do here. We wait to see the confirmation come in to show us the strength, and then we follow that momentum. Hence the Masterclass 2.0 is pretty much solely built on the fact of following the momentum, right? And that's why we have that course that's been designed. And again, you can see this very clear this morning. You had your ATR reversal up, off the weekly and the monthly ATR low. You can see we traded those levels yesterday. Weekly low, weekly ATR low. This is what's predicting the ATR. This is what's predicting the weekly low, right? Came to it yesterday, huge move up. Back down to the monthly, huge move up. Back down to the monthly this morning, look below. Tagged the weekly, and that has been a 300-point move from that area, okay? I think that move is done, and I think we potentially come back down into those levels. And I think if we do, there will be an extension. This probably needs to go full negative 100 first. So let this go to 550s. After it goes to 550s, I will draw the same anchor new low. That same anchor new low will line up with most likely the RTH mid, or yeah, probably the RTH mid. If we go lower before that retracement and we come, let's say, down to the monthly low or close to it, whatever that 38 or 50 is, at the moment it lines up with the previous day midpoint, RTH midpoint. Follow those extensions down, and we have a 350-point short on our hands. Now, the only thing I don't like about this short, and I'm happy to give both sides, but I don't think it's overly conducive if I just constantly give both sides of the market. But I haven't worked it out. I will work it out. What the likelihood of trading the ATR low 3 consecutive days in a row, because yesterday we traded the RTH and the ETH ATR low, and on Monday we also traded the ETH low. So to trade the ETH low 3 days in a row is a good stat to know, because I want to know if today there's only a 20% likelihood of trading that ETH low, then coming into 24 180s is probably statistically unlikely. Good information to know, right? Because why do I want to try and trade when I don't have the odds in my favor? What I do have in my favor is 450 points, or even if I say 400 points below that level even getting traded. So we definitely have magnitude and range to go down there without even having, I guess, stats not on our side, right? So there is still magnitude down there, even if it's a trade into the 38, which then takes us down into the 23 or the 62. There's still 200 points above that range. So there is still range to do that. But what I would like to see for that to be confirmed, we've got, I would say, 50% with the confirmation so far. I really want to see this go full negative 100. ideally we don't break the hourly high, because if that happens, I'd probably just wait for the open. I know yesterday on the open we did get a push right back up into the overnight highs. I really want to just see this go full negative 100, mainly because I'm in the position as well. But from what I've seen on the overnight session, it looks like buyers are trapped. And if they allow price to come back up, I feel like you probably got more of a mix / I don't want to say bullish stance, but I would just say more neutral than a side, basically. So I think if you're going to sell here, I think it makes sense to just continue down to the negative 100 without much of a pullback, in all honesty. But of course I can be wrong. But that's what I'm going to be going for. And again, if you come back up to this range, I'll just manage that on whoop accordingly. But I think I would argue shorts are probably now in the money. So they really need to press it here for that trend to continue. Or you probably go back to being mixed / neutral inside this range. So yeah, bias is going to be short to neutral. I'm not bullish in any stance whatsoever. I will start to turn bullish probably once we at least have a day where we form a higher low on the BX, but that seems to have not happened. Where is my tool? I use the path. Currently, we are in a downtrend, and we haven't yet. Again, today hasn't closed, so this could close above. When we do get a higher low form, then I'll start to actually see, are we actually starting to potentially turn green again? But until that happens, the trend is down. The trend is your friend. Trade shorts. If you really want to trade longs, just be extra careful is all I'm going to say. I understand we are at monthly lows, weekly lows, but you can have, and it is average and normal to have 300 to 500 point drops below those levels. Okay, so that is, and that would be, for me to draw that, that would be taking out ETH low today for the weekly, and the monthly would be pretty much coming down to basically 24,000 psychological level. 24,000. It's completely normal. That's average. If we've already broken them, so since we've broken them, those stats are in play. They don't have to play out, but remember, that's an average. So some might be 1,000 points, some might be 200. The average is 500, 550 on the monthly. So you just have to be aware that on a daily point of view, remember the monthly is favoring that downward pressure. It just is. Like, there's no two ways about it. There's no, oh yeah, but we're sold. No, that is the stats. Like, so let's not pretend to be a bull. Like, that is the stats. We have to go off what's in front of us. And of course, when longs start to really press it back above, then things will start to change and things will flip. And obviously I'll start taking longs again. But for now, we have to be mindful of where we are. So that was a very long-winded morning breakdown, but hopefully that was useful. And I will jump over to Whoop and we will go live on there. Anyone has any questions, let me know on the live stream. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're not a member, click the link in the description below, and I will see you all over there in a couple minutes.